Alright. Hey, I'm Aqua or Aquarius of Fallen Snow if you don't know me. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome back if you've been here before. In this video, we're going to be breaking down Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that continues to shape leadership, personal development, and ethical thinking in our modern world. In this video, we're going to be diving deeper into the origins of Stoicism, comparing it to other philosophies, and examine its influences on Roman leaders and discover how it's being applied in contemporary society. So, what is Stoicism? Stoicism is a philosophical school of thought that originated in ancient Greece around 300 BC, and it flourished in both Roman and Greek societies. It emphasizes the development of self-control, resilience, and ethical behavior as means of achieving inner peace. Some of the key points of Stoicism are: focus on what you can control. Stoics emphasize distinguishing between what is within our power and what is not, encouraging us to concentrate our efforts on thoughts, action, and character, using 4 cardinal virtues. Stoicism is centered around cultivating wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance as the foundation of a good life. They also emphasize living in accordance with nature. Stoics believe in aligning oneself with the natural order of the universe, using reason to guide one's actions. They also teach of emotional regulation, acceptance, and resilience. They teach managing emotion through rational thinking, aiming to reduce negative emotions and cultivate positive ones. They advocate for accepting external circumstances beyond our control while manifesting inner tranquility. They hold virtue as the highest good. They assert that participating in virtue is both necessary and sufficient for achieving happiness, or eudaimonia. They also highlight rational perception, mindfulness, and self-awareness. They encourage constant self-reflection and interconnectedness with all humanity. They encourage constant self-reflection and awareness of one's thoughts and actions, promoting a sense of global citizenship and interconnectedness with all humanity. And the practical applications of the philosophy focus on daily life, providing guidance for facing challenges and making ethical decisions. Stoicism offers a practical approach to life, emphasizing personal responsibility, ethical behavior, and mental resilience in the face of adversity. So let's start with the origins of Stoicism. Stoicism was founded by Zeno of Citium around 300 BCE in Athens. The name Stoicism derives from the Stoa Poikile, or painted porch, where Zeno taught his followers. Influenced by early philosophers, particularly the Cynics, Stoicism emerges as a particular philosophy aimed at guiding individuals towards a good life. At its core, Stoicism emphasizes several key principles. First and foremost, it believes that virtue is the highest good and the only necessary condition for happiness. Stoics advocate for living in accordance with nature and emphasize the importance of controlling one's emotions through reason. Logic and rationale are central to Stoic philosophy, guiding individuals in their decision-making process. Over time, Stoicism evolved through 3 main periods: the early Stoa, represented by founders like Zeno; the middle Stoa, which adapted Stoic teachings for Roman audiences; and the late Stoa, exemplified by prominent figures such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Breaking it down a bit further, the early Stoa marks the beginning and founding of Stoicism. It marks the establishment of core Stoic principles and doctrines. The Middle Stoa is a period that includes Panaetius or Palladius, Posidonius or Poseidonus. During this stage, Stoicism likely evolved and adapted to new cultural contexts. And finally, the Late Stoa is the final phase that included prominent Roman Stoics such as Masonius Rufus, Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. It's from this period that most surviving texts originate. It's important to note that no complete works have survived from the first 2 phases of Stoicism. Our understanding of the early and middle Stoa is largely based on fragmentary evidence and later accounts. The majority of Stoic texts available to us come from the late Stoa period, particularly from Roman authors. Stoicism significantly influenced leadership and governance in ancient Rome. Several emperors were deeply impacted by Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius is probably the most notable example. While ruling the empire, he wrote his renowned work, Meditations, which reflects his application of Stoic principles to leadership. The influence of Stoicism on Roman political thought was profound. It promoted ethical leadership and resilience in the face of challenges. Marcus Aurelius viewed his role as emperor primarily as a duty to serve the people rather than a position of privilege. He strived to govern with integrity and virtue, while maintaining emotional resistance during crises. Marcus Aurelius based his policies on reason and universal justice rather than personal gain or emotion. He demonstrated clemency towards enemies, influenced by his belief in human equality. His commitment to modesty further amplifies his adherence to Stoic values, despite holding imperial power. In contemporary society, we see Stoicism manifesting in various aspects of life. Many modern leaders and entrepreneurs draw inspiration from the principles. For instance, figures like Jack Dorsey have spoke about incorporating Stoic principles into their daily routines. There has also been a resurgence in interest in Stoicism in self-help and personal development circles. Authors like Ryan Holiday popularized Stoic wisdom for modern audiences seeking practical guidance for navigating life's challenges. Additionally, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, one of today's most widely used forms of psychotherapy, has roots in Stoic philosophy. Stoic principles are also embraced in military training and high-stress professions where emotional resilience is crucial. Athletes frequently apply Stoic-inspired mental techniques to enhance performance under pressure. Moreover, many contemporary mindfulness practices share similarities with Stoic exercises focusing on self-reflection and present moment awareness. Some companies have even begun incorporating Stoic-inspired principles into their leadership training programs. Entrepreneurs may also find Stoic teachings helpful. Entrepreneurs today increasingly apply Stoic principles to their business practices. They focus on what can be controlled, such as their actions and decisions, while developing emotional resilience to navigate challenges effectively. Ethical leadership, rooted in virtue, guides their decision-making process. Many entrepreneurs embrace minimalism and simplicity to streamline their operations while committing to continuous self-improvement. They view obstacles not merely as setbacks, but as opportunities for growth and innovation. Long-term thinking becomes paramount as they prioritize sustainable success over short-term gains. Prominent contemporary leaders who openly participate or draw inspiration from Stoicism include Jack Dorsey, like mentioned earlier, James Mattis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Cory Booker, Nick Saban, Ray DeLeo, and Toby Lutke. These individuals incorporate practices such as journaling and meditation into their routines while using Stoic principles to guide their leadership approaches. But now that we know its origins and how it fits into society, both ancient and modern, let's break down the thinking even more and compare it to other philosophies or philosophical teachings. When comparing Stoicism to other ancient philosophies, particularly Epicureanism, several distinctions emerge. Epicureanism posits, defined as absence of pain, is the true highest good. In contrast, that virtue alone is sufficient for happiness. While Epicureans focus on achieving tranquility by eliminating unnecessary fears and desires, Stoics emphasize emotional control through rational thought. The two philosophies also differ in their views of nature and the universe. Stoics believe in a providential and rational universe governed by logos, meaning word, discourse, or reason, while Epicureans view existence as materialistic and driven by chance. Furthermore, Stoicism encourages active participation in society and politics as a civil duty, whereas Epicureanism often advises withdrawal from public life. Stoicism also stands apart from other philosophical traditions such as Cynicism, Skepticism, Platonism, and Aristotelian ethics in various ways. For instance, while Cynics reject social conventions entirely, Stoics adapted societal roles while emphasizing personal virtue and ethical behavior. And here are a few other ways that Stoicism differs from other schools of philosophical thought. The practical focus of Stoicism, emphasizing applying philosophical insights to daily life, cultivating inner resilience, and participating in self-discipline. This practical approach sets it apart from more abstract philosophical systems, and the integration of disciplines of Stoicism uniquely integrates physics, logic, and ethics into a cohesive framework for understanding the world and guiding human behavior. Its emotional approach, unlike Epicureanism, which encourages embracing pleasure and avoiding pain, Stoicism teaches maintaining equilibrium regardless of external circumstances. Stoics view emotions as something to be controlled rather than to be indulged in, and virtue as the highest good. Stoicism claims that living virtuously and justly is the highest good, whereas other philosophies like Epicureanism see virtue as a means to an end. Stoicism also emphasizes accepting fate and focusing on what lies within one's control, in contrast to existentialism, emphasis on freedom and responsibility. Unlike Confucianism, which is deeply rooted in specific cultural values, Stoicism promotes a cosmopolitan worldview, seeing individuals as citizens of the world. While Buddhism shares some similarities in accepting what cannot be changed, Stoicism specifically emphasizes rational thought and detachment from external events. And finally, social engagement. Unlike cynicism, which advocates for rejecting societal norms, Stoicism aims to cultivate wisdom and virtue within existing societal structures. These differences highlight Stoicism's unique approach to ethics, emotions, and personal development, setting it apart from other philosophical traditions. Comparing Stoicism and Taoism, despite originating from different cultural backgrounds, share significant alignments in their approach to living in harmony with nature. Both philosophies emphasize accepting and aligning with the natural order of things. Stoicism encourages focusing on what is within our control and accepting what is not, while Taoism promotes the concept of wu wei, or non-action, suggesting alignment with the natural flow of life. Like I say, acceptance and gratitude for what can and can't be changed. Gratitude for what can be changed and acceptance for what can't. Both philosophies also view the cultivation of virtue as central to achieving inner peace. Stoicism identifies cardinal virtues like wisdom and justice, while Taoism considers virtue as the inherent character aligned with Tao. And both schools of thought emphasize corresponding and living in accordance with nature, and they both emphasize the interconnectedness of all living things. While they're different in their specific approaches, Stoicism emphasizing rationality and Taoism focusing more on intuition and spontaneity, both philosophies ultimately guide individuals towards a life of balance, wisdom, and harmony with the natural order. But now let's look at the potential pitfalls. Stoicism, while popular and beneficial in many ways, has several potential pitfalls, like emotional suppression. Stoicism can be misinterpreted as advocating for suppression of emotions, particularly negative ones. This could lead to emotional numbness and difficulty in forming deeper connections with others. And the Stoic focus on accepting what cannot be controlled may result in passivity, major societal issues like climate change and social inequality, or lack of attachment. Stoic teachings about not becoming attached to external things or people could be taken to an extreme, potentially hindering development of meaningful relationships and love. There could also be an oversimplification of control. The strict dichotomy between what can and cannot be controlled may be too rigid, failing to account for areas where we may have partial influence. Some may also use Stoic principles to justify a sense of moral superiority, or even dismiss others' emotional experiences. Like the Stoic ideal of emotional equanimity may be at odds with the full range of human emotional experiences. It's important to note that these pitfalls would often arise from misinterpretations or extreme applications of Stoic principles, rather than from the philosophy itself. It's important to approach Stoicism, like all schools of philosophy, critically and balance its teachings with other perspectives and philosophies. I'll also add in a few final thoughts from Perplexity. Stoicism is a rich philosophy that rewards deep, nuanced exploration. It's most powerful when applied with humility and self-awareness. Understanding the principles is just the start, but practicing them is the real challenge. For anyone interested in diving deeper, it would recommend reading works by Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, Epictetus, the Enchiridion, or Seneca, Letters from a Stoic. So let me go into a bit more about my thought process and what I was thinking while prepping for making this video. I was curious about Stoicism based on conversations I've had recently, both about philosophy in general and Stoicism as a topic. My main reason for making this video was more because I was curious about Stoicism and where it came from and its origins, as well as how that could develop or how people could implement it into their lives. I can see value in a lot of the stuff that I researched about Stoicism, and I resonated with a lot of it, especially living in accordance with nature. I also had this theory that people claiming to be Stoic or practice Stoicism may get to a point where they feel holier than thou, or like they're riding a high horse in terms of they know something that other people don't, or they're living their life more virtuously, which might lead to people becoming righteous or spiritually egotistical. But from what I've read and researched, it doesn't seem to be that way. But I also asked Perplexity AI, what kind of people or when might someone embody a holier than thou attitude with Stoicism? And it gave me a few good points here. It said somebody might embody a holier than thou attitude with Stoicism in the following situations. If they misunderstood the philosophy, those who misinterpret Stoicism as emotional suppression or detachment may adopt a superior attitude, believing they are above normal human emotions. Or individuals who strictly follow Stoic principles without flexibility might judge others harshly for not meeting their standards. Or someone might become intellectually arrogant. They may use their knowledge of Stoic philosophy to appear intellectually superior, criticizing others' life choices. With a lack of empathy, those who misapply Stoic teachings on accepting fate might dismiss other struggles, viewing themselves as more enlightened. Or it talks about self-righteousness, which I think my theory or thesis was kind of touching on. People might use Stoic principles to justify their actions while condemning others, similar to religious self-righteousness. And it could all come down to inexperience. Newcomers to Stoicism might adopt a judgmental attitude before fully understanding the philosophy's emphasis on humility and self-improvement. Now, it's important to note that true Stoicism emphasizes virtue, wisdom, and compassion, which are incompatible with a holier-than-thou attitude. Epictetus himself warned against associating with non-philosophers in a way that might lead to arrogance or contamination of one's own principles, which I definitely agree with. I think that saying, take everything with a grain of rice or a grain of salt, definitely applies to this situation. Especially with my own philosophy, I definitely try to be open to everybody else's and take in their point of view to add it to my overall understanding of the world I perceive around me, while holding on to the knowledge that we are all the same energy in different forms, or that idea of oneness. I think that's definitely the symbolism, or at least the practices that the story of the Bible or Jesus is trying to teach. I think it's less about taking it for fact or fiction, but reading between the lines and trying to find the takeaways from the story. Same thing with all schools of philosophy. I think it does definitely come down to a certain level of disassociation or disconnect, while at the same time understanding that you have always been and will always be connected to everyone else and the system that you are part of. In a way, like the Japanese say, it's about finding your ikigai, which in the West we would call our purpose in life, but the ikigai comes from a balance of doing what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. And you can find some great Venn diagrams of that online. But all in all, I think Stoicism is a pretty solid school of philosophy, and there are definitely some great points that can be taken and can be added to your own life. I feel like there should be a school of philosophy for looking at all the other schools of philosophy and taking the best parts of them and adding them to your own philosophy that works best for yourself. And if there is already one like that, you should drop it in the comments and let me know. But in conclusion, despite its ancient origins, Stoicism continues to offer valuable insights in modern life. Its emphasis on virtue, emotional resilience, and focusing on what we can control resonates across various fields, from business and politics to personal development, growth, and mental health. In the complex era of the 21st century, the timeless wisdom of Stoicism provides a practical framework for living ethically and finding inner peace amidst life's challenges. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss a new video. It could be another research breakdown video like this, it could be a podcast episode or a theory video, or maybe a live stream now that I'm streaming on YouTube, or maybe some rap show highlights. The possibilities are endless. So come join the community and don't miss out on the new stuff that's dropping. That being said, this video's gone on long enough. I'll leave it here for now. Thank you for watching. Like I always say, I love you. Stay safe. Good luck. Easy.